Hi, everybody. This is Mrs. Green. I'm still with you even though I'm away at training today. I'm going to read you another chapter of Mr. Terupt. Alexia. Teach was like, Alexia, I think it's time for you to follow me. I went into the hall with him. He closed the door behind us. Teachers had done this stuff with me before. It's like no big deal. I didn't even give Teach a chance. They're being so mean to me, I blurted out. They wouldn't let me do anything. Jessica thinks like she's the boss. But this is where Teach was different again. Wrong, he said. Stop. But he put both hands up. Just stop, he said. I was quiet. He looked right at me. You're lying, and I don't like liars, he said. You're being mean, and I don't like mean people. I felt real tears coming. I didn't want to cry, not for real. I squeezed my teeth together and scrunched my eyes. I held my purse hard with both hands. You're acting like the meanest girl I have ever seen, he said. I couldn't help it. The tears came. I was really upset. I looked down at the floor. I'm not being unreasonable, Lexi. I was like, yes, you are, but I didn't say anything. I'm telling you the truth, and sometimes the truth can hurt. I kept my head down, I pulled a tissue from my purse, and I wiped my eyes. He is being a bully, I thought. I know you're not mean deep down inside, Teach went on. So stop acting like you are. Miss Kelsey has told me some amazing things about you in her room. He didn't get it. Nobody was going to be my friend. I know because that's how it was before. Kids made fun of me because of my clothes, because of how I talk. Leopard Lexi and Lexi Like, they called me. And then one day in third grade, I attacked back. I yelled at some girl like Mom and Dad yelled at each other. After that, no one wanted to be friends with her. It didn't matter what I said, even if it was a lie. They ditched her and became my friends instead. Just like that, I became the leader. All of a sudden, I was getting all kinds of attention, unlike at home. Mom was around, but usually too upset over Dad, 'cause he was never around to worry about me. And then last year, she, hit her limit and threw Dad out of the house. Mom told me then, Alexia, don't let people push you around like your father did to us. You take charge and you fight back. So there's no way I'm going back to being nice. Nobody's going to make fun of me again. I don't remember anything else Mr. Terupt said. I was too mad to listen. I hate you, Mr. Terupt. Jeffrey. Did it help? I asked Jessica one day on our Ramadan group. We were just doing some research on the computer. What? She asked. Did telling help, like I to B? I think it helped a little, she said. I stared at the computer. I'm listening, she said. You won't tell anyone? I said. I won't tell, she said, promise. 'Cause nobody knows any of this. I just moved here last year, halfway through the school year, and nobody knows anything about me. I won't tell, she said again. I'm not sure why I believed her, but for the first time ever, I told someone my secret. My brother's name was Michael. The football cards were his. He was older than me. He had Down syndrome and leukemia and was real sick, so my parents had me in order to save him. I could feel Jessica looking at me after telling her that last part, but I kept staring at the computer. They gave Michael my stem cells, special cells that can turn into anything else in your body, hoping that they would become what Michael needed. It worked for a while, but then he got sick again. He was in and out of the hospital a lot, so that's how I learned about kids with special needs. I stopped. The computer was quiet. Jessica hadn't pushed anything on the keyboard. She was just listening. Then the summer before fourth grade, I gave my bone marrow to Michael. It was his last chance. Everything else had failed. I stopped again. My throat was tightening around the lump in it. It was going to be hard to tell the rest. "What happened?" Jessica said. "It worked, but it did not work fast enough. Michael got sick before his body could fight the cancer off. I didn't save him." The screensaver bounced around. I stared at it. Then Jessica said something no one ever said to me before. "It's not your fault, Jeffrey." I got up and walked to the bathroom. I had to. Anna. I never had a teacher stick up for me before. I'd get picked on and made fun of, and my teachers never did anything. Maybe because I never did anything either. I didn't cry or get upset. I just stayed quiet. Maybe it seemed like it didn't bother me, but nobody's got skin that thick. Mr. Turrup did something. I love him for that. He wasn't real happy about it, though. He wanted us to do the sticking up for each other. I didn't know if I could do that. But with Jessica and Danielle by my side, I knew I'd try. Mr. Turrup was right about that. Things were much easier in our group after the whole Alexia incident. She came back quiet and remained quiet for the rest of the day, and every day after that. I knew she was feeling bad. A lot of girls had felt the same way because of her, so I figured it was only fair. But it bothered me too. Mom has always told me we don't have enough days to waste being upset or sad. You've got to be happy and have fun, Anna. I think Mom's positive attitude is pretty amazing, especially after all she's been through. And I think she's right. We weren't mean to Alexia, but we left her alone. I hope she'd be different now that Mr. Turrup held a conference with her. During the time we worked on our center, I found the courage to do something I had never done before. One day during recess, while I was doing some stick sketching in the dirt, I took a deep breath and plunged ahead. "Would you guys like to come over my house for a play date?" I asked Jessica and Danielle. Jessica looked up. "I'd love to," she said. She glanced at Danielle, who kept her head down and continued sketching. Danielle's really good at drawing, so I thought maybe she just wanted to finish her sketch. Snap! Her stick broke in half. "But I'll need to check with my mom first," Jessica added. "Me too," Danielle said, but she still didn't look up. "Let me ask my mom." "You don't have to come over if you don't want to," I said to Danielle. No, I want to," she said, looking right at me this time. I believed her. Then she looked away. "But I need to get permission." The recess whistle blew. Danielle had drawn 3 girls holding hands in the dirt. I smiled. They both wanted to come over. I just hoped their mothers would say yes. Danielle. The holiday centers turned out great. It was a lot of hard work, especially with Alexia in our group, but Mr. Turrup took care of her. She wasn't the same after that. She became real quiet, which helped us get our center put together smoothly. Jessica and Jeffrey completed the trivia game. They came up with some really great questions. Luke loved playing it when he visited our holiday station. He said he learned a lot from it, which Mr. Turrup was happy to hear. Mr. Turrup hung around at our center because of the cookies. I made them, even after what Alexia said about me. My mom and grandma helped me find a recipe that used cumin, which is a spice. The 3 of us spend a lot of time together in the kitchen. It was the perfect opportunity to ask about going to Anna's, but I just couldn't bring myself to do it. The best part of our holiday centers took place when our collaborative friends visited. That was Peter's great idea. Some of the games were hard for them, but we all helped. They were able to do the crafts and eat special food like my cookies. James liked our craft project where you had to cut thin strips of paper and staple rings together to make a long chain. The chain is a calendar to help you count down the days of Ramadan, which can be 29 or 30 days long. Our chain included way more links than that because our guests kept adding them. 137. James said after eyeing the chain for just a few seconds. Then he started attaching more links. James really liked the surprise I had for him. I put together a collection of photographs of Middle Eastern farms and farming. He sat down and started talk about them and studying them. Seeing James like this made me happy. Jeffrey surprised us. Once Joey showed up, Jeffrey pulled out his little memory game that he had made with pairs of matching cards with different Ramadan pictures on them. He and Joey enjoyed playing together. It was a super wonderful day. Mr. Terupt kept smiling. So was I. Jessica. Hi, honey. How was school? Mom asked as I climbed into the car. Mom was great about giving me rides home whenever she could. Some kids like Jeffrey had to ride the bus every day. Mom's trying to get serious about her writing. She's already very skilled at it, having helped on some of Dad's plays back in California, but now she's writing for herself. That's why she's free in the afternoons to pick me up sometimes. We're lucky to have enough money so that my mom doesn't have to get a steady job right now. She can actually pursue her passion. I hope I can do that someday too. Mom did get a part-time job at a local bookstore, so she can interact with people and keep her mind from wandering back to California. My mind still wanders back there, but not like it did a few months ago. My dad hasn't called again. School was fine, I said. I buckled my seatbelt and away we drove. Mom, you've heard me talk about Anna and Danielle, right? Yes. Is something wrong? Mom stepped on the brakes harder than usual, and we jerked to a halt and then stopped again. I shook my head. No, nothing's wrong, I said. I looked my way. Coast is clear. Mom eased off the brakes. Anna asked Danielle and me over to her house. That's great, Jessica, Mom said. Yes, but I know Danielle won't be going. Well, how do you know that? I filled Mom in on what I knew about Anna's mother, and I explained why Danielle's mom wouldn't allow Danielle to associate with the likes of Anna. Mom turned right onto our road. Well, I'm not going to say no just because Anna's mother made a mistake. We pulled in our driveway, and Mom put the car in park. If Danielle is a nice girl, I bet her mom is too, Mom said. But we'll make up our own minds about what kind of person Anna's mom really is. Dad made a mistake. You don't want to give him another chance, I said. Your father didn't want another chance, Mom said. He made that clear before we left. She paused. The divorce papers came today. I sat all quiet. Mom's bluntness really zapped me. I'm sorry, honey, Mom said. I'm sure your father will call soon. I shrugged. You don't need to lie to make me feel better. Okay, you're right, she sighed. I've always been honest and upfront with you. Another sigh. I don't know if he'll call. All right, boys and girls. Now I want you to work on day 8. The skill is called inferring. Okay? Why did Jeffrey get up to use the restroom? Explain using evidence from the text and your personal schema. Schema just means what you know, your background knowledge. So I know this is a tough one. So just try it. Write it in pencil. We can erase it when I get back. I'll give you some examples. Jeffrey, after he was talking about his brother Michael. So think about that. Think about that scene. He was talking and he was telling about his brother Michael. And why do you think he got up to go to the bathroom? All right, I'm going to try to record another one for you. I'll see you on Monday. Have a great day.